What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Cares Williams from PlaytimeCares.com, coming to you with this Raw Recap, WWE Monday Night Raw Recap, March 16, 2015. They were broadcasting from Des Moines, Iowa. They had JBL, Michael Cole, and Booker T as the announcers. My WWE. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's only 13 days away from WrestleMania, and writing is kind of lackluster. Let's call it that, lackluster. But I'll give you a recap. They started off with showing a nice little video montage of Randy Orton and why he did what he did to Seth Rollins. Of course, if you didn't know, Seth Rollins put out Randy Orton for about 4 months by doing a curb stomp on him, almost ended his career, yada, 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 broken neck, yada, yada, yada. So Randy Orton last week waited to attack Seth Rollins while he was by himself. You know, Triple H and Stephanie, well, really, Stephanie got rid of Big Show and Kane because they was bickering too much. And then Seth Rollins told J&J Security to go in the back because they kept interfering in the match. And he said that him and Randy Orton had the match sold up, and he told him to go to the back. And then once he was by himself, Randy Orton sold him out and then just whooped him for like a good 10 minutes. So then you fast forward to this week, and they have the video montage of why he did what he did and how he was able to infiltrate. So then the next thing that comes up is that you have, everybody that's part of the group, the authority, everybody except Triple H and Stephanie in the ring. So you have Big Show, you have Kane, you have J&J Security, you have Seth Rollins. They all pretty much belly aching. They're all complaining, apologizing to Seth Rollins, telling them, sorry for allowing Randy Orton to infiltrate and things of that nature. And uh, of course, Randy Orton said that he was going to challenge Seth to a wrestling match at WrestleMania 31. And Seth Rollins said that he would do it under the condition that Randy Orton would fight him tonight. So, of course, Randy Orton music hit, and he was like, hey, I'm about that. I'm going to, who? What you talking about? And, of course, Randy Orton come out, and this huge pop. Everybody in the stadium just went crazy. So that was, that was good and expected. So one thing that if you pay attention, anytime they come to a pay-per-view, it's around the time that the pay-per-view is going on, especially a major pay-per-view like WrestleMania. The main talents aren't going to wrestle that long. So the first match that they had the Divas. You had AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella. And of course, AJ Lee was accompanied by Paige, and Nikki was accompanied by her twin, Brie. And that match wasn't really all that. It was, I would say, a 6 out of 10. Um, Very, very technically not very proficient. AJ carried the match the majority of the match. It ended up AJ ended up losing because she got distracted by um, Brie hitting Paige outside the ring, which allowed Nikki to hit her from behind and then put her in her little finishing move and finish off. Well, I'll give you a prediction, my WrestleMania prediction. Uh, the Bella Twins are going to try to do their usual tactics, and they're going to screw it up some type of way. And then AJ and Paige are going to win the tag team diva match. Like I said, it wasn't really all that exciting. The best divas is by far Natalia in that Funkadelic. The Funkadactyl. She was, Naomi is a beast. Those are the two best wrestlers, but for some reason they're getting pushed away from the diva thing. I guess they're not eye candy enough for people. Who knows? I want to actually see people wrestle. Next match was No, they actually cut away to Roman Reigns in his interaction with Mark Henry on SmackDown, where he kept saying that he tired of people saying that he can't beat Brock Lesnar and he can and he will. And Mark Henry makes a appearance and tells Roman Reigns that essentially, man, you too soft to actually beat to beat Brock Lesnar. So they showed that, and of course showed that Reigns is, oh man, he's focused and he's driven. So they're still trying to push Reigns down everybody's throat. People kind of accepted him, but I think a lot of people just feel as though he was pushed too fast, especially considering that he was coming off injury. For him to get Wrestler of the Year kind of didn't make sense, but the WWE likes what the WWE likes. So they're still trying to sell us on Roman Reigns being a person. Everybody's down with the yes movement. Daniel Bryan, you might well go ahead and put him back in the hunt, but that's my opinion. It is what it is. So the next thing came was an interview with Big Show and Kane, where you saw them bickering and all that type of stuff. And Seth Rollins came and interfered with their interview and pretty much told them that they were both stupid. So Kane said he wasn't gonna be at ringside when Seth fights Randy Orton, and the Big Show agreed with him too. He didn't say anything. He just left when he was asked if he was going to be there. So it's like, okay, that's two people down. So the Authority was already kind of shorthanded as is, so that's two people down, kind of major. Next match ended up being Ryback versus Miz, with Miz Dow accompanying them. That that really wasn't a matchup. Ryback completely just mollywop the Miz. That match was about 7 out of 10. That's a true heavyweight versus kind of cruiserweight, if you think about it in terms of weight itself. So, of course, at the end of the match, Mizdow went to help the Miz off the mat, and the Miz hit his finishing move on Mizdow. So, of course, both of them are in an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. So, my prediction is that the Miz is going to get thrown out of the Battle Royal by Mizdow. Mizdow won't win the Battle Royal, but that's going to be the start of the feud since Miz been treating him like trash. So, that's my prediction of that one. Then they did a cutaway to John Cena and Rusev beef. Let me just start off by saying that Cena sucks. I know that he sells a lot of merchandise, but man, he is not a wrestler. His ring skills are horrible. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm just still trying to figure out why, after the Authority fired those three people, one of them being Ryback, while Ryback, when he was in a title hunt for the United States title with Rusev, it was a really popular feud that was about to brew, and he got fired. He comes back, and he's not after the title again. Not seen as the great hope. Come on, man. Cena, oh my goodness. Well, they'll waste time because WrestleMania is only 2 weeks away. They made sure that they did a contract signing. Typical stuff. They let Cena come out there first. He hyping himself up. You should go for me because I represent America. You don't go for Rusev. He don't respect America. Rusev comes out instead of having the lady with him, Vlana or whatever her name is. She actually had a lawyer with him, and the lawyer said that Rusev never agreed to actually do a match with Cena, and he showed the footage of Stephanie saying that she didn't want Cena doing a match in WrestleMania. And so Rusev said that he would do it, or the lawyer said Rusev would agree to the match if Cena would agree to allow Rusev to read a pre-written statement and not get upset and attack him. So, of course, Rusev said a whole bunch of stuff that was anti-American, and Cena held his cool. Then Rusev flipped the table on him with the contract and everything, not Cena off, ran out the ring. So, of course, the match is on. Cena like, oh, I'm going to bring the belt back on, blah, 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 blah. No, Cena sucks. Stop pushing him for everything. We don't need him. He going to sell merchandise regardless, WWE. Please write him out of these title hunts. My goodness, the dude's horrible. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, of course, my prediction for WrestleMania 31 is that Cena is going to be the first person to beat Rusev, which doesn't make sense. Should have been Ryback. If the writers had any good sense, they would actually make it to where Ryback go interfere in the match, beat the dog snot out of Cena, then beat the dog snot out of Rusev, and then go get his belt. But maybe that's just me. Next match was up was the New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, of course, with Natalia ringside. Was she ringside? I don't remember. It don't matter. But the two out of the New Day that decided to fight was Coffee and Biggie Langston. And the Los Matadors, they decided to come down to the ring with El Torito. And they watched the match. The match went, I mean, it was only maybe 2 minutes long. Like I said, they're still saving the talent for WrestleMania so they can have a good match. So I think how did that match even end up? They did it so quickly. I know the Los Matadores end up attacking Xavier Wood that was watching the match in El Torito end up attacking Cesaro. So Los Matadores is trying to actually make themselves one of the premier tag team divisions. Good to see that the writers are finally getting getting the other belts besides the main belt into the mix, because for a long time it was just why even watch anything except the main belt. So that was okay. But my prediction there is that in a tag team hunt, the New Day is going to get pushed in the back, and either if the Usos aren't, if they aren't, they're still injured, then chances are Tyson Kidd to keep the belt. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and they did a cutaway with Seth Rollins and J&J, and he was saying that don't leave them high and dry like he did last week. And of course, J&J security snapped on him because it's like, man, you the one that sent us to the back. So Seth Rollins ended up smacking one of them, and then he quit on him, and the other one decided they quit too. So that left Seth Rollins to be the only person that would actually face Randy Orton in the main event. And then what happened? Then they did a cutaway to Brock Lesnar and him talking about how he a beast and how he destroy everything. And one thing that threw me in his promo was that he talked about his contract. I was like, oh, well, darn it. Prediction. He's going to lose the belt to Roman Reigns. If you mention your contract with WWE during your promo, then that means that they didn't renew it. Hopefully that's wrong, and hopefully they make Brock Lesnar wrestle more. But the way that it is right now, it looks like he's going to lose that match. And just FYI, I mean, just an idea for you writers. If you keep pumping the belt is the heavyweight title, then make some other weights. Bring back the cruiserweight division. That won't hurt nobody. I mean, that was what kept WCW afloat for many, many years. Let us have some real action. But that's me. Once again, been watching wrestling too long. I want good shows. Boo me. So the next match was the Big Show versus what was that? Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan made it to the ring. The Big Show didn't even allow the bell to ring. He just kind of like beat him down and then jumped off the mid rope. He's a big guy, so he ain't jumping off the top rope. Jumped off the mid rope, put the elbow through his chest, walked off the ring. So I'm thinking that with my WrestleMania prediction, since they'll both be in the Royal Rumble match, Eric Rowan will more than likely eliminate the Big Show in that. Pretty fair assumption. And then they decided to let us know who was the next person that was in the that's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, which was who was that? Larry Zbyszko? Yeah, it was Larry Zbyszko. Really good. He was a really good wrestler. That's definitely a worthy person to be put in the Hall of Fame. Then they gave you a preview of the Andre the Giant Memorial Over the Top Royal Rumble, Battle Royal match. I keep calling it Royal Rumble. Battle Royal match. Kane put it together, and you have Mark Henry music hit. Boom. He put himself into the mix, so he make it a little bit more credible. Mark Henry comes in the ring and everybody start fighting. Long story short, Mark Henry ended up just kind of whooping everybody. I don't think that Mark Henry will win the Battle Royal, but I think he will be one of the last five standing in it. So after that, they cut to, I believe, Paul Heyman being in the ring. And of course, he's talking up Brock Lesnar only the way that Paul Heyman can. He has such a cool speaking voice. And I mean, I love for him to do a promotion for me. Between him and the WWE person that make those little side videos, I love them to do it. They make the most ordinary stuff just seem so cool. Paul Heyman be over there. Oh, don't you see Playtime? You need to take a dome. It's going to be a glorious dome. Take the dome. You know, he just make ordinary stuff just seem really, really cool. So I love for them to do just a story about me. You know, I sound real cool. But of course, he's pumping up Brock Lesnar. But like I said, I already think that he's going to lose the belt at this point. Roman Reigns hit the ring with a new shirt saying that, you know, you pretty much saying I can, I will, all that type of stuff, which further leads me to believe that chances are he's going to win a belt at WrestleMania. So he said he's going to talk to Brock Lesnar face to face next week. So, but that was shown after they came back from commercial and they interviewed Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was like, well, Brock Lesnar's going to be here next week, so Roman Reigns can talk to him face to face then. So, I mean, I still think that Brock Lesnar's going to lose the belt, so it don't really matter. So you had a six-man tag match between the people that's going to fight for the Intercontinental Championship. And of course, since R-Truth has been awesome on commentary and just being doing all the outside antics, which make the seventh person for the latter Intercontinental match, title match, they put him on commentary. So you had Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose going against Bad News Barrett, Luke Harper, and Stardust. That was a pretty decent match. That was actually pretty decent. I would say an 8 out of 10 on that one. A lot of energy. Long story short, Dean Ambrose ended up pinning Bad News Barrett, so their team won. But Luke Harper jumped in the ring and hit Dean Ambrose, and then threw him over the commentary table, and that showed that R-Truth actually had the Intercontinental belt hidden behind him, clamped his back collar. So Luke Harper saw that and wanted it, and that had a whole thing where you had everybody fighting for it, trying to get the belt. Long story short, Bad News Barrett beat up all of the people that wasn't on his team, took the belt. Since he's the title holder, it's rightfully his. He got up on the ladder and was, you know, holding it up. I got the belt finally. So my prediction, though, is that actually Luke Harper will probably win the ladder match on this one because he's probably the only person that people won't think win it out of everybody. So I'm thinking the writers might actually make him win it this time. So then they cut to Seth Rollins visiting Triple H and Stephanie talking, and he's pretty much complaining that they're not doing anything and everybody quit on him. And Stephanie told him to grow a set and face Randy Orton on his own. And then Seth Rollins took a nice jab at Triple H once Triple H actually said something, telling them that he was hiding some sting. So, everybody at the stadium was like, ooh, he got him, dude, he got him. He's just hiding for sting, yeah, boy. So, that was pretty cool. So then they told him to just go ahead and get ready for his match. They cut over to the Bray Wyatt promo, and him hyping up his match with the Undertaker, which you haven't seen Undertaker since last WrestleMania in New Orleans, and since the streak was ended, so it was finally time for the match between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. So of course Orton hits the ring, loud pop. And then Seth Rollins comes from the back. He has a microphone. Tell Randy Orton that he took 3 weeks to concoct his little betrayal, but Seth Rollins only took 3 hours, and then he showed all of the authority coming out the back. So, Randy Orton ran and got him a chair. And then after he got a chair, he ran back in the ring. The authority went and surrounded the ring. Lights go off. You hear that little crow crowing. And of course, the stadium go crazy. Lights come back on. Sting in the ring with a bat. Randy Orton looking at him like, "Whoa, what happened, dude?" Then Randy Orton starts swinging the chair. Sting starts swinging the bat. They clear out the ring. You got the Stinger splash on one of the J&J security people. You got the RKO on the other J&J security person. You know, you got Sting pointing the bat at Triple H, and that pretty much was kind of how the show ended. And then they said, "Oh, on the WWE Network, you got an exclusive interview between RKO and the Stinger." So that was pretty much how the show ended. All in all, pretty lackluster show. But they did end it well. I wasn't expecting Sting to make his appearance. I thought maybe they'll hype it up next week. So that was at least that was a decent part. So, hey, this Playtime Williams giving you that recap of that 3 hour Raw out of Des Moines, Iowa. Only thing that I was disgusted about is that it is a day before St. Patty's Day, and Sheamus didn't make a guest appearance. I thought it would come back a day before St. Patty's Day. So I'm looking for him. My prediction is he comes back for a SmackDown, and he make a St. Patty's Day joke. So comment, let me know what you think about it. I know this was long, but thank you for sitting through it.